everyone, Kimber from Moksha Yoga and Wellness here. Wanted to make a short yoga asana class all about opening the hips. So for this practice, it is all levels, super slow flow and yin holds, but in the beginning we will do some vinyasas and sun salutations to get these hips warmed up before we stretch them out. You'll need a block or something like a block perhaps. This mostly for like a triangle pose and things like that perhaps. And then a strap or something like a strap. This can be a necktie, this can be a belt. I have used the waist part of a bathrobe strap that came out of the holes, so it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to work. So once you have your props ready and you're ready to practice, just come to a comfortable seated position. It may feel nice actually to take that block and sit up on it. The goal just being that your hips are higher than your knees. So if you're sitting like this, it might be nice to elevate the hips. And you can see how much difference that makes and how nice your back feels. Puts you in really good alignment. Take a deep breath. Inhale, feel the belly. Exhale, let it all out, sigh. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Extend through the crown of the head like someone is pulling you by a string. Just a long, straight spine. Just take a couple of breaths to arrive. To come here. Maybe just taking note of how your body feels today, taking a little inventory before we start to move. We'll start by just rolling the shoulders gently, just inviting some movement into the joints. Switch directions. You can gently let your head rest to one side, ear to shoulder. We want to avoid neck rolls. Those actually generally don't do much good for your neck. It is one area that you have to be very gentle. So you can slowly, gently move between positions, but it doesn't have to be constant movement. Great, release back to center. Inhale, arms come out and up overhead. Exhale, twist gently to the right. Super, super gentle. Just warming up the spine. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, super gentle fold just out over those crossed legs. Any amount. Just warming things up here. Deep, slow breathing. Gently put yourself back up to center. If your legs are crossed, switch the crossing of your legs. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Notice how changing the crossing of your legs changes which hip you may experience that stretch in most strongly. And without judgment, just noticing what's happening in your body. Being a very present observer. Maybe even thinking of sending your breath to that area where you're trying to bring expansiveness and openness. Using your breath as a tool. If you're ready, push back up. Remove the block. Come into a tabletop position. Knees under hips. Wrists under shoulders. We'll do some cat-cows. Following your own breath. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, rounding the back, looking at the navel. cat's tail, side to side. Just whatever movement would feel good here. Can make some big circles back through child's pose if that feels nice. Maybe lingering in any spot that feels especially tight. As you're ready, move your hands forward slightly, maybe one hand length. Open the fingers, spread them wide, externally rotate the wrists, press down through the hands, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Generous bend in the knees to start. Can pedal out one foot, then the other. Remembering that what's more important about than your heels getting to the ground is that you have a long, straight spine. From here, inhale, lift the right leg up behind you, bend the knee, rotate open like you're a dog peeing on a water hydrant. Just start to make some circles with the hips. Get them loosened up a little bit. Switch direction, pressing evenly into both hands. Gently bring that right foot back down to the mat. Inhale, lift the left up behind you, bend the knee, rotate open. Big circles. I imagine it like I'm drawing a picture on the wall behind me with my knee, as if my knee were the end of a marker. Switch directions if you haven't already. Place that left foot down. Walk your feet forward to find your forward fold at the front of the mat. From your forward fold, inhale, stand all the way up. Arms come out and up with you. Exhale, hands through heart center. Take hands to both hips. We'll just make some big circles around with the hips. I'm a 90s child, so I think of SpongeBob SquarePants. Bring it around town. Maybe one more to this side. And switch directions. Just feeling into all sides of the hips. Seeing what you find there. In this super simple motion, what is it revealing to you? Maybe one more till you feel even on both sides. Then we'll come back and meet at the top of our mat once again. Move a little bit, get things warmed up before we stretch them. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees if you need to here. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, little cobra to start. Exhale, press into the hands firmly to get you back to downward facing dog. Take another quick moment here just to get adjusted. Walking into the feet, whatever feels right. Inhale, lift the right leg up behind you, pressing evenly into both hands. Exhale, round the spine, draw the knee towards the navel to pull it through the space between your hands. Lower the back knee. If you have your blocks here, you may like them just to bring the ground up a little bit. And then just get heavy with the hips. Wherever you are, making sure you can still maintain a tall spine. Feeling into whatever you feel. There's no right or wrong answer. As long as it's not pain. I would say that might be the wrong answer. Maybe you should move a little bit. Being patient with your body takes 30 seconds for most people for a muscle to release. Then when you're ready, tuck those left toes, come up onto the left knee. Bring that left foot closer, stand all the way up. Gonna face the back of your mat, toes pointed slightly out. Bend the knees, come into a goddess pose. You can have hands on the legs for support if that feels better. You can do a little gentle side to side. One more deep breath. Stand up. We're going to look to the other side. So from here, a little bit of a wonky transition. Stepping back to a high lunge. Hands come down to frame the left foot. Right knee comes down. We're in that low lunge on the other side. Same thing here. Just being patient, just feeling whatever you feel. Using your breath as a tool to create space. So sending it wherever your body feels like it needs it. Just letting the hips be heavy. When you're ready, bring that left knee back to meet the right. Reach the hands a little further forward. Press into all 10 finger pads. Push the mat away. Press the hips up. Walk the feet forward to the back of your mat. Inhale, stand up, arms out and up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. We'll come back to the other side, standing at what is the front of your mat. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, plank. Take a breath in plank. Inflating the space between the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog if you're feeling warm and spicy. Ready for it. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you're ready, inhale, lift that left leg up behind you. Exhale, curl, tuck it in to bring it through. Take a step forward with the right leg, toes come out at a 45. Arms come up, we're finding warrior one, adjust your feet as needed. Hips pointing towards the front of the mat. Ribs tucked down, shoulders away from the ears, pinkies pointing forward. Finding your breath. I find in this pose, the longer I stay in it, my hips just start to so think if you can, as if your hip bones are headlights, these bony points of your pelvis, and your car, and there's the road. You want your headlights to point straight down the road where you're driving. When you're ready, straighten that front leg. Turn both toes to face the front of your mat. Hands come to your hips. Take an inhale, get tall, reaching tall through the crown of the head as if someone's pulling you to the string. Exhale, fold forward, flat back. Find a straddle forward fold. Slight bend in the knees is fine. You can also use your blocks here if you need to bring the ground a little closer. You can also feel really nice. Just shift your hips side to side. You'll get into that inner thigh, groin area a little bit. Finding your breath, finding your attention. If it's wandered, maybe gently bring it back to the mat. Then as you're ready, your right toes are going to point towards the back of your mat. Left toes are going to come out to a 45. I like to make my feet a little wider here. Then bend into the front knee. Inhale, stand. Checking in with those headlights again. See, my car would be driving off the road right now. Fixing them so they're pointing forward. Arms come up if you'd like. Really feeling that front right hip firing, almost like you're going to tuck it underneath you just a little bit. One more breath. Bring that left foot forward to meet the right. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take an inhale and plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up behind you. Exhale, squeeze it in, bring it forward. Warrior two this time. So left toes come out to a 90. Front knee is bent. That right heel is right in line with your left arch or left heel. Bending into the right knee. Knee is in line with your second toe-ish. Arms can come out if you'd like. Micro bend in that left leg, pushing into the outer edge of your left foot, feeling your feet really active. When you activate the feet, press into the toes, use your arches, then you're sending that energy all the way up your legs, activating all the leg. This one, it's okay. Your hips don't need to be all the way forward. They don't need to be all the way sideways either. Most people think they have to crank open their hips. Not so good. Maybe like, I don't even know what angle that is, 30 off of front. Feels good to most people. You don't want this to feel painful, obviously. Finding your breath. Think about tucking that right butt under, rolling the top of that right leg, rotating it around your femur. All right, straighten that right leg. I'm sorry, I should have given you some notice. This is where you may want to block. If you're using the block, take it somewhere around the right foot. I recommend to the outside of the right foot, sending the hips back in space towards the front of your mat. And then your right hand's going to come to the block, left arm's going to come up for triangle pose. The goal here is activating the legs while still having a long spine. So same thing here, think about engaging that right glute, tucking it under a little bit. Finding your breath. ready, bring that left hand down, coming to the toes of the left foot to spiral and frame the right front foot with your hands. Step that right foot back to a plank. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest, shine the heart forward. Exhale, press into the hands, tuck the toes. Downward dog. See if the down dog feels a little different on one side to the other. Then walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, heavy head. Let gravity pull you down. Inhale, press into the feet to lift you up. Arms come with you. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, out and up. Exhale through heart center. We'll come back to the front of our mat. Some yoga teachers are really good at sequencing, so you don't have to do that. I'm not. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Take an inhale at the top of plank, inflating the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, shine the heart forward, contract the glutes. Exhale, press into the hands, tuck the toes, hips high, down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. Exhale, bring it forward to the space between your hands. Before we get too far on this side, you may want to move your block to this side. That was a little better that time. Setting up for warrior two, so the toes come out parallel to the short end of your mat, bending into the front knee, coming up, spiraling open the arms. Checking in with your alignment, so heel to heel or heel to arch. Knee over the toes, not caving in. Rotating around that femur, activating the left glute on this side. Hips, ish. Arms come out if you'd like, slight bend in the back leg, pushing into all four corners of both feet so you activate the legs. Bend a little deeper if you're feeling like you want more. Get a little bit more of that quad engagement. Wherever you are, finding your breath. As you're ready, straighten that front knee. Your hips come back as your upper body reaches forward. Your left hand can find that block near your left foot. Upper body is long. Right arm comes up, shoulder down away from the ears in the socket. Left glute rotating externally around that femur, tucking under, activated. Finding your breath. Almost done with these standing poses. We'll get into some nice releases next. When you're ready, bring that right hand down. Come up on the toes of your right foot. Rotate to face the front of your mat. Hands frame the left foot. Left foot comes back to meet the right for plank. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Last vinyasa. Inhale, shine the heart forward. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Beautiful. Seeing how your body feels now. It's done just a little bit of work. Gotten a little warm, which will help us to release. Walk your feet forward to meet your hands, and then take your feet almost as wide as your mat, toes slightly out at a 45. Bend the hips, bend the knees, send the hips down, as far down as they go for a malasana pose. I like the variation of hands in prayer and then pushing my elbows into my knees to push them out to either side. Can also do a little swaying side to side. Always feels good. Shouldn't say it always feels good for me. What you experience in your body may be different. Wherever you are, making sure you have a long, straight spine. And then from here, pressing into your left foot so all of your weight is there. Extending the right foot. Find a nice stretch to the inner thigh here. Your blocks can come under your hands if you need. Breathing, not rounding into the back here, keeping the spine long. And then start to crawl over to the other side, Spidey style. What you do with your foot here is up to you. I like to lift my toes. If you'd rather keep them down towards the ground, that's totally fine. Just making sure you're supporting yourself with your hands so that we're not stressing this knee. Let's work back to the other side. You can kind of stay in a static. You can move back and forth a little more quickly if you'd like. Whatever feels right to you today. Just making sure you feel even on both sides. And when you're ready, come to sit on your butt. Come to the center of your mat. Now, we're going to move into cow face, so take your left leg with bent knee. Think about your left knee pointing directly forward. You're still planted on your left hip. And then you're going to take your right leg, lift it up and over, kind of like you're making them cross like shoelaces. So this top leg, for me, doesn't bend nearly as much as that bottom leg. Totally okay. Even here, I'm feeling a stretch in that top hip. So adjust to whatever feels right to your body. If you need to unwind a little bit, if that's too much, totally okay. Find wherever you are. And then take your strap. And you're going to reach your right arm up behind you towards your back. Your left arm down and back. If they don't touch, mine don't. That's what the strap is for, to have something to grab. Tall, straight spine. And breathe. Trying not to hold tension in areas where it's not needed. I find I just had to release my left quad. It doesn't need to be working right now. Maybe it's your jaw, maybe it's your shoulders. Returning to that slow, peaceful breath, our biggest tool. Being patient with whatever is coming up for you. Even do a little sway side to side here. Maybe you'll find something in your left hip that way. And as you're ready, ever so gently start to unwind. Take both legs out in front of you long. Shake them out. Take a moment before we switch, just checking in with your body again. How does that right leg feel? How does that left leg feel? So, to the other side, right leg comes under, right knee pointing forward. Left leg crosses on top, any amount. You can heel toe that even left foot out a little bit. That makes it feel a little better for me. And totally okay if this side feels totally different. When you're ready, that left arm is going to come up and back. The right hand coming down and back. reaching for that strap if they don't quite touch. Finding your breath. This can be an intense one for a lot of people, especially because a lot of us will store our emotions in our hips. So sometimes our body will have a kind of emotional, psychological reason for not letting us release there. Maybe it's scared of what it will bring up. Oh yeah. Can you be present with what's coming up without wanting to change it? Can you radically accept the present moment? As you're ready, release your strap off to the side. Take those legs long. Shake it out. We're going to come to lie on our backs. You'll still need the strap, so make sure it's handy. Left leg out long on the mat. Grab your strap. Place your strap around the ball of your right foot. Hang out here for a moment, just inviting some length into the back of the right leg. Sending your breath there. Then, you may want to take both sides of your strap in your left hand and keeping this left hip glued to the mat, this right leg is going to cross over the body any amount. Doesn't take a lot and you'll feel potentially a big stretch in this outer right hip. If you're a runner or if you have tight IT bands, this is my favorite stretch to get into that area. So what we're not doing is just rolling onto our left hip into a twist, but you see that left hip is still glued to the back of the mat. It'll take a lot less movement to get the same stretch here. Finding your breath, finding your patience, letting go of any judgmental or destructive thoughts. Replace them with gratitude if they're very persistent. I'm so grateful for my body for supporting me. My body is so strong. I care for my body cares for me. Slowly start to bring that right leg back up. Release it from the strap. Stretch it long on the mat. Make sure the hips are even. Take a moment just to feel into your body and notice what you're feeling. No right or wrong answer. Just observing. Keeping that right leg long, we'll take the strap over the left foot this time. Taking a moment here, just getting into the hamstrings, because who doesn't need to get into the hamstrings? Letting the shoulders be heavy, releasing tension in the jaw, neck. And then, this time keeping that right hip glued to the mat, gently cross over with the left leg any amount, maybe taking the strap into your right hand. If that made your shoulders come up into your ears, relax them back down. Can you breathe? Can you be here? Remembering it's totally okay if it feels way different on this side. We are not all as symmetrical as we look, and that's okay. So as you're ready, bring that left leg back up to center, remove it from the strap, stretch it out long on the mat. Once again, just taking a moment just to feel into your body, seeing what changes you notice, just being the neutral observer. Then bending both legs, placing the feet flat on the mat, just windshield wiper the hips side to side for a moment. You can hang out on one side a little bit longer if that opening on the front of the hip feels really nice. Or maybe you can move a little bit faster. After those long holds, it can feel really nice to just add a little movement, get the circulation back, get some lymph moving around, just to balance those long held holds. When you feel reset, keeping the feet flat on the mat, knees bent in line with the hips, cross the right ankle over the left knee. Stay here if this is feeling like a good opening from the right hip for you. Otherwise, reach your hands behind the left thigh, maybe draw the left thigh and right ankle closer to you. So a lot of times in this pose, this is reclining figure 4, we'll hear that we should flex the right foot to protect our knee. But really there are no muscles that transverse both the ankle joint and the knee joint, so I don't really know how this would actually be protecting your knee at all. So I say let that right foot just be comfortable. Then you can experiment with flexing the left leg, maybe flexing that foot, bringing that knee to a 90, and maybe that changes the experience of the pose in your right hip a little bit. Or you can just let that leg go. Whatever feels right to you in your body today. There's no wrong answer here. And then coming back to the breath. Since we're lying on our backs, it may be easiest to find the breath in the belly. So let it be long and peaceful. And it may be helpful to visualize actually sending your breath to your right hip, using your breath as a way to open that area and create space. Making sure you're not holding tension in the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. Just totally relaxing into this pose. My dog is asleep on the floor, so if you hear her moving a little bit, don't be alarmed. She just has to be wherever we are. She'd be so offended if I kicked her out of the room. Returning to your breath and attention over and over again. Bringing them back to this moment, back to this shape that your body's in. Helping your nervous system understand what's going on, understand that it's not a stress by that long, slow, peaceful breathing, so that our body feels safe enough to really release into the stretch. So stay here if this feels like where you need to be. Or if you'd like to experiment a little bit, keeping the legs exactly as they are, let the whole unit just fall over to the left until the bottom of the right foot is on or near the floor. This could change the experience of the stretch and where in your hip you're feeling it. And here, once again, check to make sure you're not holding tension. Maybe you're guarding in your left hip or your left leg. Relaxing the shoulders, letting them melt into the mat. Relaxing the face. We've done our work. Now we can just reap the benefits of getting to stretch those warm muscles. Being aware too that a lot of us hold a lot of emotions, unprocessed feelings in our hips. So just be gentle with yourself. If anything's coming up for you, instead of just pushing it back down, can you just be really present? Just as we are when we're uncomfortable in these poses in our bodies, we return to our breath. If this were to bring up emotions, can you handle it in the same way? Being patient, remembering it can take around 30 seconds, sometimes longer, for a muscle to really release in one of these stretches. And if we're trying to get at the fascia surrounding the muscle, we'd hold these poses even longer, upwards of 3 to 7 minutes. Making sure your breath is still long and relaxed. And as you're ready, slowly bring the legs back up to center. Release that right foot back down to the ground. Just slow and easy. Maybe doing that windshield wiper move side to side once again. Then we'll get ready to do the other side. So bring the left ankle across the right knee this time. Stay here or reach behind the right thigh. Same thing on this side. You can let that right leg hang, or you can flex it to 90, making that right leg active. You kind of determine the intensity of the stretch that way. Then getting back to the basics. Where is the breath? How is the breath? And how is the mind? It's okay if this side feels different. I know for me, I'm a lot weaker on my left leg, especially because of an old knee injury that I babied for way too long. So sometimes if I've been working hard in the gym, my left leg will just feel so impossibly sore compared to my right leg. So just creating space for whatever your experience may be on this side. There is no right or wrong answer as long as you're not in pain. Continuing with long, slow, peaceful breath. Knowing that that's just as important of a tool as the positions that we're putting our body in. Maybe since we've been here for a little while, you've maybe felt that first release of the muscle. Maybe now there's a new edge. Just very gently playing with that edge. It is totally possible to overstretch, which is not what we're after today. You don't have to be at a 9 out of 10 intensity level in this stretch. You just need to be patient with a little more time. And being gentle and slow with our muscles is a much more sustainable way to care for our bodies. Stay here if this feels like where you need to be, or we'll drop the legs to the right side this time until that left foot is close to the floor. And then relaxing in this position, whether that means the shoulders, the jaw, the right hip, whatever it may be. Remembering to show yourself grace. If you find that your body isn't as flexible as you'd like, and your thoughts are reverting to judgment, being critical of yourself, just ask, is that helpful? Is wishing I was more flexible actually making me more flexible? Maybe replace it instead with a thought of gratitude to your body for supporting you and allowing you to do the activities that you love. Maybe sending some love to that left hip, just like we've been sending our breath. Maybe you can imagine just covering it in little pink hearts. Or sometimes I visualize a pink slimy goo. Sounds silly, but for some reason it works. Wherever you are, checking in with the breath, making sure that we're using our tools synergistically of relaxing the nervous system while we stretch the muscles. As you're ready, slowly, gently come back up to center. Make sure the hips are square. And go back to that windshield wiper motion. So inviting a little movement after a long hold. Get ready for a bridge pose here. So lots of options. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor, no matter where you are. First option is to just press the feet into the mat to lift the hips. You can hang out here. If you'd like more of a relaxing, restorative version, you can take your block under your sacrum, which will just take off some of the weight. It can feel really nice to not have to work the muscles here. Just release the low back, thinking about letting the chest high. And then think about raising the back of your neck so that you unlock your throat. We don't want to move the neck side to side in this position, but a lot of us get stuck down like this, totally cutting off our throat, cutting off our air, cutting off our throat chakra. Just inviting some length to the neck. When you're ready, gently lower down one vertebra at a time, slow and controlled. until that sacrum is the last thing to touch. Then pull the knees into the chest, give yourself a big hug, maybe rock side to side if that feels like a nice massage to your SI joint and low back. Then we're going to take a nice little twist, so keeping the knees as they are. Using the left hand, draw the knees over to the left, and then relax that right shoulder back down to the mat. The right arm can come out at a T, even with your shoulder. Stay here, or maybe take your gaze out over the right hand, if that's comfortable on your neck. Just remembering to keep the shoulders heavy here, and even though your abdomen is contracted in a funny way, think about maintaining that deep breathing. When we twist, we're resetting the spine, maintaining good spinal health by just increasing mobility. Not necessarily between the vertebrae. We want the spine to always move as a whole as much as possible. But twisting, side bends, forward bends, back bends, all healthy movements for the spine. When we twist like this, it's almost like we're wringing out the spine like a wet rag, getting rid of toxins. And the best part is when we release the twist, then our whole spinal column is going to be rushed and flushed with all fresh new blood. So many benefits to good circulation. As you're ready, slowly pull the knees back up to center. Take a moment to reset if you need. And then use the right hand to gently pull the knees over to the right. And then relax that left shoulder to the mat. Arm can come out even with the left shoulder if that's comfortable. Maybe even gazing in that direction. And still finding your breath, even though your diaphragm can't move as much in this position. Sis dog is breathing deeply. I don't know if you can hear her. When you're ready, start to make your way back towards center. And then reach the soles of the feet towards the ceiling, knees bent, happy baby. You can reach for the outside or the inside of the feet if you'd like. Sometimes like after a happy baby to push the soles of the feet together and pull them towards me. It can feel really nice. So take this moment to take any other poses your body is asking for you to feel complete in the practice. And then as we prepare for Shavasana, lift your left leg a few inches up off the ground, reach it down and away, get as long as you can, and then place it on the mat. Lift the right leg a few inches, reach it down, place it down. Arms come up overhead. And then snow angel your arms down by your sides so your shoulders are relaxed. And then just let go. You can relax any control of the breath. Your only job now is to just be. Relaxing the tiny muscles around the eyes, the tiny muscles around the mouth. Letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Letting the shoulders be so heavy they just melt into the mat. Palms face up, toes splaying out. No effort here. Letting your nervous system just absorb the benefits of the practice. Start to come back to your mat by deepening your breath. Maybe invite some gentle movement by wiggling your fingers or toes. Maybe you choose to roll your wrists and ankles. Or maybe it looks like a big good morning stretch overhead. As you're ready, gently roll to your right side, head cradled by a bent right arm. Take a last, relaxed, carefree breath. As you're ready, gently push yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you found benefit from this practice. Please let me know what else you would like to see. Namaste.